Beautiful, as is. It seems a shame to do anything with it. I just put it up on the wall. The involvement with the process is what happens, and what happens is always a mystery. It's always a miracle. I say this is typical of a wooden model that's going to be cast in iron. It's a lever of some kind. You get involved with the materials and it gives you feedback. I think this is a nutcracker of sorts. It almost directs you what to do and how to go. Beautiful, as is. Sometimes the idea then grows out of the process. It's very sculptural. My paintings really became, over the years, three-dimensional. And then, for all practical purposes, it was sculpture. There's another New Guinea piece, not quite finished. It's sort of a prototype, which I never followed through on. I'm kind of fickle. I go on to new things, and I'm very curious, and I love to experiment. And I've developed processes for printmaking that are strictly my own. I've developed a process of monoprints where you get multiples, which is not usual. This was during high school, now that I think of it. I had worked for Postal Telegraph. It was that experience I had at Postal Telegraph made it possible for me to hold on to my specialty and not become an infantryman for the invasion. That was a lifesaver. I've had several things like that happen to me during my lifetime. In England, we were having maneuvers and I was injured. Part of my rehab was getting involved with drawing and painting. I was the first art supervisor they ever had in the Groton Public Schools in Massachusetts. I taught about 3 years and I asked for a leave of absence and they didn't want to give it to me. I said, well, I've got to have it. I want to get my master's degree. So I spent a year and a half in Mexico. My thesis was a mural that I painted there called Fiesta. In Mexico, I learned foundry work. I did some bronze casting. Oh, it's dated '67. I did come back, taught for another 3 years, and out of the clear blue, my professor at Tufts called to tell me about the job opening here in Rhode Island, at Rhode Island College, and spent 32 years teaching there in the art department. I just loved teaching. In fact, I would have done it without the pay. I enjoyed it that much. In the meantime, my wife, who was a weaver, got this part-time job with an international group. They would have an international meeting every other year. After the meeting, we would travel and tie in our holiday, which gave me a wonderful opportunity to fill up sketchbooks with collages, drawings and photographs, input from my work, my paintings, my sculpture, and so on and so forth. Kyoto is an example. We had a choice of having a Western hotel or Eastern. Now, it's the first time I was aware that we had a choice, so we took the Eastern hotel. The shoji screens on the windows and a little alcove with chairs looking out on the garden. I came alive in this environment. I started doing watercolors and collages and so on. I didn't want to leave that space. And I've tried to recreate it in my own home. Because it's so important to, feel or not feel, whatever, at peace with what you're doing and the way you're doing it. It was a spiritual awakening. I've had a fantastic life doing what I love. I want to continue doing that. In fact, I found when I retired, nothing changed. I just had more time to do what I've always done. Work with my stuff. And I love stuff. Watches, clocks, wristwatches for the most part. And stuff comes alive for me. Tools, glass marbles in there. There are glass marbles in there. This was mounted once. Pawtucket. Pawtucket, what's left of it. It's quite a collection. This is a form. Silkscreen as a base for this. Probably a sand casting. Works in progress, if you will. Something I've always wanted to do is a series of niches. So that's all I need is stuff to stimulate me to do this or that. And with such limited space, you have to be creative about how you store things. I tend to produce a lot of stuff, and no one's complaining, so I'm going to continue doing it because I enjoy doing it. It's a way of life. It makes life really worth living. Sometimes my work does have a political point of view. In fact, my recent show, I had a painting called Nicaragua. It had to do with the turmoil that Central America has every so often. It just bubbles up. We don't seem to be learning from past experience about conflicts really don't resolve too much. I would encourage people to find something they love and stick with it because, it doesn't get any better than this, really. As long as I can continue to work in my studios, I'll be a very happy man. Yes.